light 'em up, 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 light 'em up, 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 light 'em up, up. I'm on fire.
Hey everybody, so episode 8 of Teen Wolf Season 3 aired tonight, and it was another very cool episode. This time we get to see a 15-year-old Derek. We've never really gone that far back into Derek's past before, and we actually get to meet some of the Hales when they were younger. Now, we've seen Peter before when he was younger, but this time we get to meet Derek's mom, which she is pretty badass. But back to the point, the whole episode, we spend most of the episode back in Derek's past and the past of Deucalion. So, at the beginning of the episode, we see a young 15-year-old Derek running through the woods, and he runs into another werewolf who then recognizes him as a Hale and gets killed by Gerard and Mr. Argent. And then Peter saves Derek, and then we go on to find Cora and Styles and Peter. And they basically start talking about just Derek, and Derek's like gone off somewhere, and he's kind of MIA after Boyd has been killed. And Cora's like, she says he wasn't like this when he was younger, when she knew him. And Peter basically comes down and he says, to understand Derek now, you need to understand his past and how his eyes went from gold to blue. Now, when we see Scott, Allison and Scott, they go to Gerard's, wherever Gerard is staying. I have no idea where he's staying, but, I mean, whatever. It's Gerard. Who cares? Well, I guess his enemies care. And so, Allison and Scott, while they're there, well, Gerard, I guess, requested Allison to bring Scott, or because he wants some of his pain taken away, because he's still suffering because of the mountain ash that Scott, like, switched his pills out with last season, and then he got bit by Derek, because if you watched the season last season, you know what I'm talking about. I'm not going to explain. Well, Scott goes and starts, and you see him taking away Gerard's pain a little bit, but the agreement is that he will tell them about Deucalion, what he knows about Deucalion and druids. And so basically, what's going on here is it all kind of ties in together. The stories are telling of the past, and the werewolf that was killed at the beginning of the episode in the past was one of Ennis's pack. That was his beta, I believe. Yes, his beta. And Ennis, Kali, I'm finally saying her name right, and Deucalion, along with their packs, arrive in Beacon Hills, and they're there to see Talia Hale, Derek's mom, who is the alpha, and she has a special ability. She can actually shapeshift into wolf, and we actually see her turn from a black wolf into herself, and it's really, really cool. I've always loved that kind of aspect of werewolfism, like, whatever, lichens, whatever, all the different terms, you know. Anyways, so they go there because she's, like, very well respected, and Deucalion tries to talk Ennis out of wanting to seek revenge, and because they find out, they said that the hunters kill those who kill their own, and Ennis says that his beta didn't accidentally killed a couple of hunters, but yeah, you know how that goes. So he does the whole spiral in this steel door or whatever, and they try to stop him, and yeah, that, you know, Ennis. So they go and they talk. Deucalion and Talia go talk to Dr. Deaton. Now, the druids, that is what Dr. Deaton is, and Gerard tries to talk Scott into thinking that Dr. Deaton is the Dark Druid. I do not believe he's the Dark Druid, but they said that the druids, back when the werewolves were created, are able to talk werewolves into something to do with keeping their human side and not just going rabid. And they're basically advisors to werewolves. So Dr. Deaton's like the advisor to Scott and all of them, and he was the advisor to Talia and stuff back then. And Dr. Deaton's sister is the advisor to Deucalion and the Alpha Pack. Yeah, I don't like that. That just seems wrong. Like, do familial ties mean nothing to druids? I don't know. It's, yes. So, that's that. Now, they go and try to arrange a meeting with Gerard. Dr. Deaton sets it up, and Gerard makes it out to sound like he was ambushed by Deucalion, but actually, Deucalion was trying to settle everything peacefully. Well, him and his pack went. It wasn't Ennis or Kali or anything. So I think he was just trying to look out for himself and his pack, and didn't work out. You know, Gerard, he set a trap. They're in some distillery, and he releases what I believe to be that airborne wolfsbane, that stuff that Mrs. Argent did last season to Scott and nearly killed him. And I don't know if Mr. Argent killed I think he just severely wounded Deucalion's pack right then. And then Deucalion later kills all his pack. Crazy. But in this scene, we see Deucalion lose his eyesight. Mr. Argent takes 2 arrows and just jams them into he is a Mr. Argent. Gerard. He jams some arrows into Deucalion's eyes, and yes. So, when he goes back to they're at Dr. Deaton's, and he's Dr. Deaton's office, and he's pulling bandages off his eyes and stuff. Basically figures out his eyes are going to heal, but he's not going to be able to see. He does this huge roar. Talia, Dr. Deaton walk out because he says he wants to be alone. Marco, his beta, we've heard of him, challenges him. Then Deucalion, apparently, when his eyes get his werewolf eyes, go all werewolfy, you know, his wolf eyes, whatever. That's what Scott was calling them, because he's not always blind. He just basically tears Marco to shreds, and that's how we see the descent into darkness. That is Deucalion. He was peaceful at first, which is very interesting to see, and Gerard actually brought out the monster. I think he was the main one that created that monster. I mean, he initiated it. So that is the story that Gerard told about that. Now, going back to the story that Peter is telling Cora and Styles about Derek. Derek falls for a girl at school named Paige. She's a cellist. You know how teenage romances go. They were kind of didn't like each other first. Well, this romance, this is how this one went. They didn't like each other first, then they fell in love and all this stuff. Derek starts to worry about her finding out what he is and not accepting him, and then Peter throws out the suggestion to turn her. And he wasn't going to do it at first, and then he just keeps thinking about it, and he goes to Ennis? Really? Why'd you pick Ennis? He's crazy, and he's on a vengeance mission. Not a good choice. So in the process, while he goes and bites Paige. He scares the crap out of her. Derek changes his mind, tries to stop him, but it's already too late. And basically, she was one of the few humans that the bite did not take, and it killed her. She went through a lot of pain. They went back to that distillery. I don't know if that's where they went back to. It looked like it, their place, but basically she went through a lot of pain. She begged him to stop. She also said that she kind of figured something was different with him, so he really, and I know that killed him. I mean, he thought that she wouldn't accept him, but she basically tells him that she would have, no matter what, because she loved him. And she begs him to stop the pain, and he ends up killing her. And that's how we finally find out why his eyes were blue, because he took an innocent life. And that is it kills part of your soul, or just darkens it. And so that also explains why Jackson's eyes went blue in last season at the very end when he did become a werewolf, because he, as the Kanema, he had killed some innocents. Because the people he killed weren't really killers. They didn't, I mean, not unintentionally. Almost killed someone. But anyways, so we find out that, and it's just really sad. Scott, now back to everything with Scott, we find out that Scott's been kind of monitoring Gerard, and he says, your heartbeat didn't rise or fall throughout the whole time. And he said, and so I don't know if he didn't believe anything that Gerard was saying, because he knows Gerard's a good liar, and Gerard's just, I don't know. And basically he asked Scott to take away some more of his pain. Scott does, but then Scott gets it was a scary moment, because I thought Scott's eyes might flash out for red right there, because it was just, Scott was pissed, and he was like, if you're lying to me and someone else gets killed because of you, I'm not gonna come just take away your pain. He threatened to kill him. That's what he did. And now back with Styles and Cora, after Peter leaves or whatever, Styles basically says he doesn't know if that's the whole story, if it's the truth, because he just doesn't trust Peter, because that's just Peter's version of the story. So he's like saying he might actually ask Derek, and Cora's like, you're really gonna ask him? And he's like, if I have to. So yeah, so Styles and Scott, yes, they know not to really trust those two guys that telling them those stories. It's just, can't trust them. And then at the end we see Derek, and he's back at the distillery, and he's looking at the spiral. Anyways, I hope y'all enjoyed this, and continue to watch and subscribe. Have a great night. Bye.